Tonight in our news at 6, WRAL's Amanda Lamb reported on a new lawsuit filed by 3 transgender people against the state's Department of Health and Human Services. It's about the agency's policy regarding the gender listed on your birth certificate.
Parents of one of the individuals listed in the suit say not having a correct birth certificate has led to discrimination. This suit comes on the heels of several local municipalities passing non-discrimination ordinances. Our newest anchor reporter, Dan Haggerty, is here now to give us some perspective on the history of these legal changes and how they've adapted over time. He'll be joining us for unique segments like this in the 7 o'clock news.
Thank you so much. Thank you. I'm thrilled to be here. Thank you for a third time. I want this segment to be an opportunity for me to get to know everybody at home, all of you. This is a return to North Carolina for me, so I'm kind of getting to know the community again. And I'm very curious when I read headlines like this one, for instance. Durham LGBTQ business owners celebrate anti-discrimination law. Now, as I'm learning, as you probably already know, these types of laws have been popping up all over the state recently. We made you a little map to show you where. So you got Durham, Raleigh, Wake County in general, all of them having kind of pretty similar wording to these new rules in place. The new Durham ordinance protects pretty much everybody from discrimination based on age, disability, race, ethnicity, creed, color, sex, pregnancy, marital status, sexual orientation, gender identity, national origin, and so on. It's pretty thorough. It's a thorough list, right? Everybody seems to be covered. And I don't think there's a decent person out there who would argue that that is not a good thing. But it's still controversial here. Why? Well, very simply, it boils down to a catch-22 that's usually explained using cake. You may remember this story about a cake shop owner in Colorado who wouldn't make a wedding cake for a same-sex couple because their marriage didn't align with his religious values. Now, the gay couple said that he was discriminating against them, but the cake shop guy said that forcing him to make the cake or fining him for not making that cake discriminated against him and his religious beliefs. Now, this case is old. It's like a decade old. It went to the Supreme Court years ago, and it never really solved anything. The Supreme Court ruled in favor of the cake shop owner, saying that the Colorado Civil Rights Commission showed anti-religious bias when it first ruled on the case. But that headline can be a bit confusing because the justices never actually said anything definitive about the broader discrimination issue. In fact, when they did broach it, they mentioned a precedent from 1968 and Newman versus Piggy Park. It's a barbecue spot in South Carolina. Now, this barbecue chain claimed that their religion required them to refuse serving black customers alongside white customers and that forcing them to do so would violate their freedom of religion. But the court rejected that. They called it frivolous and essentially redefined the interpretation of freedom of religion when it comes to offering access to goods and services in America. Now, on the ACLU website, there's this Q&A section for people in the LGBTQ community and a part that asks, am I protected from discrimination in public accommodations like shops and restaurants? Now, they don't say yes or no on there, but instead they say that there is no federal law that bans discrimination based on sexual orientation or gender identity in those places, saying, however, state and local laws where you live may ban this kind of discrimination, which is why Durham and Raleigh and so on and so forth have written these laws, even if we have no idea how strong these laws actually are. You see, when the Supreme Court ruled in favor of the Colorado cake shop, it left us without a clear path for these types of confrontations. And the confrontations have not stopped. In fact, earlier this year, that same guy, the cake shop owner from Colorado, was back in court for violating Denver's local anti-discrimination law when he wouldn't make a transition cake for a transgender woman. Now, he lost that case in Denver. He had to pay a $500 fine, and he plans to appeal to a higher court, once again saying that his shop was targeted for obvious reasons, which brings me to the final wrinkle in this debate. Some people think that these local anti-discrimination ordinances will be used as a weapon here in North Carolina. So we checked to see if they have been. We reached out to the cities and the counties with these new laws in place to see how many complaints have been filed and for what. We'll let you know what we find out. In the meantime, I know this is a big topic. I haven't even mentioned HB 2 yet or the Equality Act that's currently stalled in Washington right now. So tell me, though, what you think about all of this. I want this to be a place where you have a voice in the conversations that are going on in this community. So tell me what's on your mind. What am I missing? I'm sure there's something. Send me an email at the address you see at the bottom of your screen, dan@WRAL.com. Help me produce the news. And let's have a discussion. Deborah, Gerald.
You're right. It is complex and it is lengthy. Dan Haggerty, thank you so much and welcome to WRAL.
Yeah, welcome, Dan. Glad to have you.
It's a pleasure.